Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome to How to Build. Today we're going to be going over Athel. She's one of the 4 starter champs. If you're only here for artifact and mastery suggestions, I'm putting those on the screen now. Quick note about her masteries, you'll notice I've done all 3 trees. The offense tree is pretty much mandatory. As for defense or support, I would recommend the defense tree maybe for dungeons and farming if you want to take her in that direction, and the support tree if you want to head more in the clan boss direction with her. Either tree will be fine, she'll still be effective pretty much everywhere, but if you want to optimize, those are some suggestions that you can put to work until later on when you want to redo them. To completely optimize the way you want to use her. If that's all you were here for and you felt like you got what you came for, hit like on the way out maybe, and subscribe if you want to see what I put out in the future. And I appreciate you stopping by. I hope it was helpful, and I'll see you in the next one. For anybody that wants to stick around, now I'm going to be doing a little bit of an analysis on Athel. As a champ, we're going to talk about her stats, her skills, and a little bit more details about how to use her and things like that. So let's go ahead and take a look at her. She is an excellent little champ. She's got a pretty wide range of utility. She is an excellent choice as a starter champ. They're all pretty good, but she is probably a little bit better than a couple of the others at least. Her base HP is fine, 13,500. Base attacks, just a tad bit lower than average for a rare attacker, typically. However, there's some things in her kit that kind of balance that out a little bit, I think, so it's not really that big of a deal. A little bit of a higher base defense than we'd see on most rare attackers, but that seems to be standard with the starters as well. And then a little bit on the higher end with base speed. Average base speed tends to be somewhere around the high 90s, and she's 104, so a little bit faster, going to be a little bit easier to get first turn and make her do the things you need her to do. So let's talk about her skills. First skill, attacks one enemy 3 times, has a 75% chance of placing a 25% weaken debuff for 2 turns on the last hit. So, interesting thing to note there is your only chance to proc is on the last hit of these 3 hits, okay? Now, it is a 75% chance, and fully skilled up, it is a 100% chance. Now, what that means is she's still going to have accuracy. When a skill says that something has a chance to place, even if it's 100%, that's its chance to proc. Proc is programmed random occurrence. It has a chance to proc, then it has to roll accuracy versus resistance, and if you win that roll, then you'll place the debuff. So it's still a good idea to have accuracy, especially on a champ that has potentially a 100% chance to land. You can really take advantage of that with high accuracy and basically land it at will in most cases. So accuracy is still going to be pretty important on her, and weaken on her first skill is really nice, particularly in clan boss and anywhere where there are enemies with high HP. You're going to amplify that damage a bit on them, make them easier to take out, but especially in clan boss, you're going to ramp your team's damage up quite a bit with a weakened debuff in the mix. So, and she hits 3 times, so Giant Slayer is going to work out great on her, and great first skill. There's a lot going on there. There's a lot of utility in that first skill, so it's a really good skill. Second skill, attacks all enemies, has an extra 15% chance of inflicting a critical hit. So just inherently, if you don't put another point of crit rate on her, then she's got a 30% chance of critting with this attack. Basically 1 in 3, so if you're attacking 4 enemies, she's probably going to crit at least one of them. And it's pretty good damage. She's got pretty decent damage output with this skill. And lots of utility here as well. Help you push through the campaign, help you farm the campaign, wave clear in the dungeons. Going to be good in spiders. Pretty good skill. Lots of things you can do with taking an arena with it with a cleave comp. Excellent little skill. Third skill, places a 25% increase attack buff on this champion for 2 turns. Places a 30% defense buff on this champion for 2 turns if the champion's HP is less than 50%. Gains an extra turn. So she attack buffs herself. It is the weaker version of the attack buff, but it's an attack buff nevertheless. And then if her HP is a little low, she'll defense buff herself. Just kind of increase her survivability a little bit, make her take a little bit more of a hit. Hopefully she can survive until the healer gets back around and heals her back up, or if she's on lifesteal, she can heal herself back up with her damage output. But it's really cool because she's self-buffing, she doesn't rely on anybody else, and she gains an extra turn from this, which is really just going to help you cycle back around to this. This is on a 3-turn cooldown, so as in fights that are going on for a little bit, this is just going to help you turn cycle a little bit better, and maybe give this to you a little bit faster a few times than you would have had it ordinarily. But as far as, and then the standard HP 15% in all battles, that's all the starters have that. So a nice little kit. She's bringing quite a bit to a fight. She's self-buffing, she's got AoE damage, and she's bringing a weaken to the fight to improve everybody's overall damage output. So I think that it's okay that her base attack is a little bit lower, because again, she kind of takes care of herself in that front, and then she's got the weaken that is going to increase everybody's damage output on whatever enemy you're going after. So really good skill, lots of utility. There's really nowhere in the game you can't take her except maybe the deeper dungeons of Ice Golem. I think only there would she begin to kind of be a little bit of a problem, because heavy AoE damage in Ice Golem can get a little rough if the minions are still alive and you hit everybody and drop the golem's HP and he revenges with both his minions alive. It's going to hurt really, really bad. So heavy AoE can be kind of a bad thing the deeper you get into Ice Golem, but really every single other place in this game she can go and she can be very effective. She's an excellent clan boss champ. She's a very solid farmer. She's going to be good for pushing through and helping you 3-star the entire campaign. She's good in potion keeps. She's good in dragon. She's good in Fire Knight. She's good in spider. She's good in arena. She's good in faction wars. There's really nowhere you can't take her except the deeper dungeons of Ice Golem. So a very wide range out of this champ. She can do a lot of things, and she can do them all very well. And she's not going to really fall off anytime soon. You can carry her even into late game, I would say, in some cases, and she's going to be just as effective. So very solid champ, and lots of fun things you can do with her. So as far as how we're going to talk about building her, it's not going to really vary too much from the other starter champs that I've talked about. Same types of sets, same types of idea. Lifesteal is of course going to be a great option for her because she's got an AoE, so that's going to be a little bit of a safer set when you're trying to farm and maybe she's not strong enough to just kill everything right away. Or even in the dungeons, she's going to kind of be able to help keep herself alive through the waves because AoE and Lifesteal almost guaranteed full heal. And then when you get her masteries done and she's in Clan Boss and she's proccing Giant Slayer with her first skill, Lifesteal is going to heal her right back up too. So Lifesteal, a lot of utility, very safe set, can probably carry you through the mid game, and just a really good option for her. And then as usual, she's got AoE, so a stun set is not a bad idea. Any opportunity that you have to stun multiple enemies at a time is really going to give you the upper hand in a battle. Toxic is also not a bad idea for her. She does have AoE, so she can put AoE poisons on enemies. She can put poisons on bosses, and then her first skill hits 3 times. That's 3 potential poisons. So now if we're just talking about Clan Boss, now this skill potentially puts a weaken and 3 poisons up. So you're going to greatly increase her damage output. That's already going to be pretty solid once she's on Giant Slayer, because the weaken's there, she's proccing Giant Slayer, and she does pretty good damage anyway. But if you start adding poisons to her kit, you're going to see her Clan Boss damage go up quite a bit. So Toxic, Stun, Lifesteal, these are all, you know, pretty reasonable options for her. And then as far as the two, and then Savage, I think, is another one that's also a really good idea. Any opportunity to ignore defense, especially on an AoE scale, is going to be really helpful. You're going to see her damage go up quite a bit there. So again, if you've seen my other videos on the other starters, not a lot of deviation there, because while they do have they're different enough to be interesting and to be used in different ways, but they're similar enough that you can still get the same things out of them. So the approach is very similar for at least the beginning portion of the game. And then the 2 sets, again, fairly self-explanatory. Offense, speed, crit rate, crit damage. You could go an accuracy set if you're wanting to get some Clan Boss utility out of her right away to help her land this weekend, but she's one that you could probably skip the accuracy set on, to be honest, and just worry about other things. She's not so debuff heavy, and the weekend it's helpful in dungeons, but it's really only mandatory, I would say, that she land it in Clan Boss. She doesn't have to land it in the dungeons. You can get through the dungeons without a weaken. So only if you're really focusing her for Clan Boss damage would I worry so much about accuracy that I would consider putting an accuracy set on her. Otherwise, I would just put the things on her that boost her damage and speed. You know, the crit rate, crit damage, any divine sets that you have, attack, you know, things of that nature. So And again, those sets are pretty self-explanatory. They just supplement whatever stats you're having a hard time getting up. If you're brand new to the game, you'll notice that I suggested crit rate as a main stat on the gloves. If you're really early on, just go attack percentage as a main stat on the gloves. It's going to be a lot better for you to do consistent damage that you can rely on and get a feel for how strong she's going to be. And then as you start to get your hands on better artifacts moving through the game, you can kind of grow into crit rate percentage as a main stat on the gloves and supplement that attack from other places, whether it be better offense set gear or better substats. You'll start to be able to put jewelry, accessories on her and bump her attack up that way. And you'll begin to work your way down the masteries, and there's some damage boosting stats that you can get from the masteries. So that would be my suggestion if you're a really, really new player, because your artifact inventory is just going to be so limited. There's not a lot of great stuff dropping, so you don't have a lot at your disposal there. And then again, real quick to touch again on the masteries at the beginning of the video. If you look at the mastery suggestions, of course there are many other ways to do it. This is just kind of a moderately balanced way that I think is a good way to get you started. And then a little later on, you can take your free reset for her and kind of map them out in a way that's more specific to how you want to use her. But you will notice I did the 3 trees. So again, the offense is kind of mandatory, I would say, for her. And then the defensive tree, I would focus more if you want to use her for farming and getting through campaign and doing dungeon runs with her. And maybe focus on the support tree route if clan boss is going to be important to you right out of the gate. You'll get a little bit more out of her in clan boss, help her land that weekend, boost her stats a little bit from the sets you have on her, and a potential to extend the amount of time that the weekend is on the clan boss by a turn, which is going to be very big. That basically means permanent weekend on the clan boss, as long as you've got the accuracy to land it. So beyond that, I think we've pretty much covered it. Basically, take her wherever you want to take her. We talked about artifacts, talked about masteries. I think that pretty much wraps it up for Athel. So I hope it was helpful. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you feel like it was helpful, like the video. And if you want to see what I put out in the future, then, subscribe, all that fun jazz. Other than that, I'll see you guys in the next one.